Welcome to Ratchetdemic, Becoming Dr. Williams, a Soulfully Hers podcast series. This space is part audio journal, part reflection, and part truth-telling. It's me documenting my final semester of my doctoral journey, not from a place of perfection, but from the middle of becoming. I'm learning how to sit with the tension, the pride and the pressure, the faith and the fatigue, the confidence and the doubts, without pretending any of it doesn't exist. This is Ratchetdemic, where unfinished drafts, deep prayers, and honest conversations with myself meet scholarship, culture, and becoming. I am Marie Williams, and this is the season before they call my name. Let's get into it. Well, good morning, everyone. It is the day after the defense. And yes, I passed. I am Dr. Williams now. You feel me? Dr. Williams. So weird. But yes, y'all, we passed it. It was so many emotions that went on yesterday, and we are going to dive into that right now. Okay, so I may be jumping around and all that stuff because this is literally the day after my defense that happened on March 4th. And it's March 5th right now, 10:46 a.m. So first off, day was normal. It was a lot that happened yesterday. I had to go to the doctor's real quick, had an 8:30 appointment. Then I had to come back and then rush to get dressed. Then I went to go get my mom, and then we went to the campus because we had to be there like at 11. So Miss Tina in our department can help me set up for the hybrid, for hybrid over there at the campus because it happened at Sac State. But yes, I didn't have time to breathe. I initially I brought my microphones with me just so I could wear it, so I could record myself talking during my defense presentation. But so many things happened so fast. I went to the restroom, and then everybody started coming in there, and then I was like, oh snap, it's coming close, and I forgot to grab my microphone to talk. And then I think my Zoom was recorded, but then I don't know where's that. So it's a lot, but it's okay. Just know it went well. And so I was nervous in the beginning, then I was just going. Usually for myself, I'm not sure how any other people feel about this, but when I went through my presentation, I was like, oh my God, I think I went through this fast. Like, to me, it felt like it was 10 minutes, like 10 or 15 minutes, but it really was like 20 something minutes. So I was like, oh, I actually hit the mark on how long it was supposed to be. So, we did everything. People are like, yay. Well, I guess they were like, yay, because it's like I couldn't see the chat or anything. But, people were expressing excitement and all that good stuff. And boom, what happened? My committee gave me feedback. And let me tell y'all, I don't know what it is, but I felt so crushed in that moment. Like, I'm giving you guys honest emotions that I was feeling. I felt so crushed when the feedback came, because like one of my community members was like, oh yes, I have a ton of notes, and I was like, a ton of notes? I was like, oh my God. I was sitting there through the entirety of everyone giving me feedback and giving me things to work on for my paper, because for people who don't know, for the public defense, when your friends and families are watching you present, they're just watching the presentation. They don't know what you have written. They know the presentation is based off of the stuff that you written, but they don't know exactly what you wrote in your dissertation because they're not reading your dissertation and stuff. So they just see the overall presentation. So when I was getting that feedback and it was like, oh, this was missing, I had a disconnect there. Like, y'all, it felt like gut punches. It felt like someone was just punching me in the gut, and I felt so defeated. When I tell you guys, I felt so defeated. I literally, like, as it kept going on, because it felt like sitting in the moment, it felt like it was just going on for like 30 minutes. Like, it felt like it was going on forever. I was sitting there like, bruh, maybe I wasn't ready to defend. Maybe it wasn't my time. Like, maybe I have a very horrible paper. Like, I was really just feeling so overwhelmed in that moment that for a second I was like, yo, I am about to fail this. Because I was like, what the heck? Like, I had people text me. It was like, dang, they going on for a long time. And I'm like, yes, they are going on for a long time. Like, in my mind, I was like, y'all, this could have been an email. Y'all could have just made it short, simple, and sweet. And then oh, I'm about to get up because my watch told me it's time to stand up. I was like, y'all could have just sent the email because oh my god, this is too much. Like, I felt so embarrassed. I was like, oh my god, maybe I just didn't pass this. I just didn't do a great job, you know? Because that's what it felt like. It felt like, oh yeah, I love the way you write. Things are beautiful, but bam, here's the feedback. And I just sat there and I was just like, dude, this is hard. Like, sitting there getting that feedback, I was just like, my God. I really was like, y'all, I'm just so defeated right now. I'm so overwhelmed. Like, I was texting my friends who are in the same cohort as me in the same program, and I was like, y'all, I was like, I don't feel good about this whatsoever. And they kept telling me, keep your head up. You doing a great job. You did that. And I was so depleted. Like, in the middle of them giving me feedback, I swear I zoned out. I was just like, I was like, yo, I can't take this no more. But I held my composure, but I literally just wanted to cry in that moment because I felt so defeated, and then after the feedback was done, they gotta go and deliberate. They gotta discuss. So they go in the breakout room and we're there, and I'm just like, who? And then my family was in the same room as me, and they were just like, oh my god, I thought, of course your family gonna be like, I thought that was an A+. What are they talking about? And so like, my friends, my sisters, Artis and Mariah, they were just like uplifting me. So many people were uplifting me up in there, were like, you did an amazing job. I love you. And then the biggest moment happened. So we had another program manager for my job. She came in and she was just congratulating me. And then she just she turned on her camera and showed that her students were sitting there watching me do my presentation. And I was like, bruh, y'all about to make me cry. And I literally cried. I literally started crying. Because for two reasons. I cried because I was like, that is just so beautiful. I got these groups of young men of color. My whole dissertation is about African American boys and all that in their voices. And then I'm like, they're sitting there just watching me. Of course, they're all excited because the camera turns on and everybody sees and we're like, hey. But then also, I cried. Like, I cried at that moment because I was like, that's just so inspiring. And just for the younger generation to watch you and sit there and see what you're doing. And after the fact, she like made a post saying that led to discussions of, higher education. How do I get my doctorate? What is a dissertation? Like, the students were asking questions. I was like, oh my God, that's such a beautiful moment. But also, honestly, the second reason why I cried was because I felt so overwhelmed and so defeated from that feedback that I really was on the verge of like, yo, I'm not about to pass this. They about to come back and say, you know what? We're going to push this back until you write a better paper. and then that's it. That's because that's how I felt in that moment. But I cried because that was the feelings that I had. I was like, I'm not about to pass this, y'all. But then it's like I cried because I'm like, everyone is just giving me all of this love, but I don't feel it. Like I feel like, and what I mean by that is like I feel the love that everyone's giving me. Everyone's saying this words of encouragement, but I'm like on the inside, I just became another critic. Like everybody says you're your own worst critic, right? So when that feedback came in, I just started speaking negatively. Like I'm not about to pass this. I'm not feeling this. I'm ready to quit. Like I just want to walk out this room right now. And stuff. So that's why I was crying. So I'm like, everyone's giving me all this love. And I'm like, did y'all just hear this feedback? Like, this is embarrassing. Like you did this in front of my people. But you know, that's just like what it was. And then when they were deliberating, we were just like, dang, they're taking mad long. Cause I think, I don't know, like they were like deliberating for a long time. And then that really scared me because I was like, okay, they're talking for a really long time. And then I was just like, you know what? This is solidified. It's solidified that I didn't get this. They're about to come up here and be like, sorry, Marie, we need you to work on some few things before we can give you that title. Right? That's what I was feeling. I was like, that's what's gonna happen. That is literally what is about to happen right now. And we were just like, and I'm not gonna lie, I like was watching the breakout room, and we were watching like the microphones going, and then people were talking at the same time. Of course, my family, they're being messaged like, oh look, they going back and forth. So they look like they arguing, but we don't know what's going on in that deliberation. And we were just like sitting there watching, and I had to pee really bad. I was like, oh my God, I gotta go to the restroom. And I was like, but what if I leave and they come back? And everybody kept saying, just go to the restroom. And so, because like I was also texting people like on my phone, and they were like, girl, just go to the restroom. So I eventually went to the restroom because it was just like right down the hall. And I came back, they were still deliberating. I was like, this is so embarrassing. And then people started to leave, which is normal because even though this defense is scheduled for 2 hours, can't nobody sit for the entire 2 hours or whatever. Like some people leave. And the most important part is, people being there to see your presentation. So I was just like, dang, it was like people just slowly started leaving, and I'm like, bruh, y'all taking mad long right now. Like, just come back and tell me it ain't gonna happen. Like that's what I was feeling. And then finally they got done deliberating, and everything was just like I feel like everything just like paused. And then it was like it felt like everything paused, but everyone was speaking fast. And then they were like, congratulations, Dr. Woods. I was like, what are you talking about? So everyone was just so excited. They're like, yay, da, 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 giving me encouragement and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, thank you. But the thing was, I was still feeling those emotions. I was still overwhelmed. I was still like, like upset and hurt by all the feedback because I was just like, and even though, they explained that all of this feedback, they're like, this is just tough love and all of that good stuff. And, it's like at the end of the day, they want your paper to just be spotless, right? They want it to embody all that thing so people could really see what you're trying to say. And it's like, I definitely understand the feedback, but in that moment, I felt so hurt and depleted that even though I got that title, I still was not feeling good. Like I was everyone was just like, "How you feel?" And I was like, put it on fake smiles, but on the inside, I was like, I feel hurt because I feel like, like I literally was feeling like, yo, this is just a sympathy. They just gave it to me for sympathy because I had my families and friends here watching. I was just like, then, of course, it's like one of those things that's like you start making up fake scenarios in your head. You're like, they probably really was arguing there. And they just said, here, we're just going to give it to her. And all that. But, it's like every little thing, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, those were, oh my God. Like, I was feeling it. Like, once I actually got home and, like, chilled a bit after talking to everybody, and I took a shower. I literally started crying when I was in the shower. Because I was like, I messed up really bad. I said to myself, I was like, I messed up really bad. This like really hurts. I was like, it's like I couldn't even sit in a moment of celebrating that I'm Dr. Williams now. And then while I was crying, after I got out the shower and stuff, I looked in the mirror, red eyes and all, tears flowing, and I was telling myself, you did it. They would have never gave that to you if you didn't do you were supposed to do that if you weren't like at that level of getting it, if that makes sense. You know, they're only giving you that feedback to make this work better, because the work that you are doing is so important, and the topic you are talking about is so important that they want to make sure that every aspect is touched on, so people could really, I think it was one of my community members said, it was like feel the brothers, like actually know them, right? And so I had to tell myself that. I was like, girl, you did it. But it's still adjusting, because it's only the second day after it. It hasn't even been 24 hours. Let's be real, it hasn't been 24 hours. Like, we got the decision like at 1:40 something p.m. yesterday. So it hasn't even been a full 24 hours. But so I'm still processing, and I'm like, girl, you doctor now. And I know it's probably gonna take a few days for me to actually really sit in it and really just be like, girl, you're actually a doctor. And it's okay, because a lot of my, like, I was texting some of my coworkers, my work besties, and I remember they were saying we were crying. Like, everyone was saying that they were crying, but I was like, I was crying because I did horrible apparently. And one of them was like, girl, you did amazing. Like, this is such a big and high achievement. Of course, I'm like paraphrasing right now, but they were just saying like, this is such a high achievement. Like, you are really that girl. They didn't say that girl. They said that B. But they're like, you're really that girl. So it's like, it's just gonna take me a minute just to just to adjust to this. So anyone who's out there who's like, what does it feel like after you defend your dissertation? And the first thing I want to say is that it is different for everyone. This is what I'm feeling right now. But one of the most important things is that I passed that G thing. Right? I passed that G thing, and I'm the second person in my cohort to do so. Right? And so it's going to take a little adjusting. I probably won't feel comfortable yet until after, I talk to my chair and we go over like the what you call it, the revisions and like the comments and stuff like that. But yeah, that was yesterday. That was yesterday, y'all. That is. Oh, and then we went out and we went to not Chili's. We went to Applebee's because I really wanted that OMG burger, which was tremendous. It was amazing, right? So, but the one thing that's good about all of this stuff is that it's early March. The paper isn't due until May. So I have more than enough time to incorporate all of these, all of the feedback and all that good stuff. But I ain't gonna lie, one thing that got me scared is that they haven't signed that paper yet. Because they gotta sign a paper about you passing your dissertation, and it's like, yo, it ain't even done yet. But I gotta remember, it just happened yesterday. So there were two back to back from the same chair. But yeah, we're gonna end this here. I need to stop worrying and just
attention now. There are a couple of
wow.
exciting things happening on
Y'all
campus
hear that?
today. At lunch, there's going to be a bracelet making event taking place in room A12. Schwab is sponsoring a bracelet making class in room A12. Come learn to make a ladder candy cup. Sounds delicious as well as beautiful. And also tonight is opening night of the spring production of Clue. The drama department is putting on an amazing spring production. You're not going to want to miss it. Tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday. Tickets are only $10 for our students. You can get them on that app that I can't remember the name of right now. So don't miss out on the drama show tonight and bracelet making in A12. Have a great day, Matt.
Yeah, y'all. So I don't know. I may just keep that in there because that was funny. But I'm at work while recording this. So boom, we just heard a morning announcement. But we are gonna end it here. Signing off as Dr. Williams. As I close out this episode, I want to honor where I am. Not rushed, not perfect, just present. This season is teaching me that becoming doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like staying, resting, rewriting, and choosing myself again. If you're in your own in between, carrying unfinished drafts, deep prayers, or questions you don't have answers to yet, I see you. You're not behind, you're becoming. This is Ratchetdemic, where unfinished drafts, deep prayers, and honest conversations with myself meet scholarship, culture, and becoming. I'm Marie Williams. Until next time, stay rooted, stay soft, and keep becoming.